Yeah. Welcome to the Backpacking Podcast. As always, John Kelly here with Jeremiah Stringer. And we are brought to you by Outdoor Vitals, makers of Performance First ultralight gear and their current new series of clothing that I cannot tell you enough about, the Mountain Pursuit line. If you are someone who is in cold weather, and I'm talking the cold stuff, this is a line of gear for you. If you're a hunter, I actually spoke with Outdoor Vitals this past week, and they told me that these clothing have been tried out by XO, which is a company that makes outdoor hunting gear, and they love it. They've been wearing it on all their hunts, and I can tell you, it's lightweight, it's warm, it's comfortable. They've got the hybrid fleece that's coming out right now, the Pursuit fleece, which is fantastic, and the Altura Dynamic pants, which move with you. They're flexible, and they do a great job. And coming soon, in just a few months, the Vantage Alpine Down Jacket, and that's the one I can't wait for because that thing looks awesome. So why don't you go on over to OutdoorVitals.com and check out the entire lineup there for the Mountain Pursuit line. And Jeremiah, let's talk about your trip with Mr. Jason, Mr. Backpacking with Jason, sir.
Yeah, we done an overnight trip, and I haven't got a chance to talk about it yet. I mean, I did mention it at the end of one of our shows a few weeks ago, but I thought I'd tell you a little bit more about it. And if anybody wants to follow me over on Instagram, shameless plug, I put a little selfie of us on there, having fun, dude. So Jason and I, we wanted to get back together and get an overnight in. And my idea was Jason can't be there until the afternoon time. So I said, well, I don't have to work that day. I can get out anytime I want. My wife did have to work, and that meant that the baby was going to daycare. So baby got dropped off first thing in the morning, and guess what? My schedule's clear, and Jason's not going to be there till the afternoon. I went ahead and left early. I actually stopped and tried our new 7 Brew. Have you heard of this? The 7 Brew coffee place?
Yeah. Okay, so can I give you my take on 7 Brew?
The floor is yours, my friend.
7 Brew is coffee for 14-year-old girls.
Why do you say that?
Because you can't get a regular cup of coffee at a coffee shop. Like, literally, I asked for a cup of coffee. They don't have coffee. They only have all this flavored frou-frou stuff. Because we've got them in Lexington. Like, I've been to them. And my wife thinks they're great. Women love them. But if you just want coffee, like, if you want to be a normal male and get coffee, you can't do it. It's geared towards 14-year-old girls. Okay, I'm done now. Look, it's all yours. The floor is yours.
Well, I have more to say about this 7 Brew. It's funny. So there was a trip that we took, Jason and I and a couple other people, and this has been a year or two. And we pulled off the interstate to get a coffee at Starbucks, right?
Right.
And Jason, Mr. Backpacking with Jason, sir, I should say, he goes into the Starbucks with me. It's me, him, and another buddy. And I get, I've been to Starbucks before. I get whatever I get. A lot of times it's a caramel macchiato latte. But I'm very basic. He doesn't know what to order. And I tried to explain to him that the reason why you don't like what you're ordering here at this coffee place, and we've been to like a million coffee places together, but for some reason it seems like every time I buy his coffee, like it didn't even make it out the door this time. He threw it away. Actually, that was probably the previous time. I think he left it sitting on the counter there for the employees to throw away after he had tried to doctor it up some. He orders like a black coffee, and then they ask him these different questions, and he doesn't know what to say. So then he gets a coffee that, it's Starbucks coffee. They always kind of taste burnt to me. I don't know why. I don't know if that's their coffee bean or they don't know how to roast it or that's who's roasting it.
They do more of an Italian-style roasting when they do their coffee, which is a very dark roast.
Oh, that's why I'm tasting. I guess it's not burnt flavor. It's the darker roast.
It's a darker roast. Yeah, they roast theirs to death, in my opinion.
Well, let us know in the comments the best coffee place. I mean, I'm usually a mom and pop place. I'll try to find one, but the mainstream, I don't know if it's Starbucks or definitely not Dunkin', man, I felt so bad. I had a student that gave me some gift cards to Dunkin', and I used them.
You know, though, for black coffee, I like Dunkin' Donut black coffee.
Oh, I never just get a black coffee. I got to doctor mine up.
No, I'll say if you just get a black coffee and you maybe get cream in it or something, it's good. Like they have good regular coffee. I don't necessarily like their fancy frou-frou 14-year-old girl stuff, but I like their regular coffee. All I gotta say is,
got one life, live it.
That's all I'm saying. You got one life.
That's right. So anyway, he told me I remember at this Starbucks, he was like, man, if this was 7 Brew, then I would have liked it a lot better. And I was like, 7 Brew? I've never heard of 7 Brew. Well, come to find out, in my town, just out of nowhere, I saw a flatbed coming in, and it had a 7 Brew coffee literally just on the trailer. And
that's
they drive it down. It's all prefabricated. So they put it down, they hook everything up, they pave the lot, and voila, now you have a 7 Brew. So we got a 7 Brew, and it had opened up like 3 or 4 days before the trip I was taking with Jason, where we're doing this overnighter. And I said, you know what? I'm going to stop and try it. And hopefully everybody's already at work and been through there. And because every time I drove by there, I mean, there was a line. It's the first week.
Well, and so people understand, Jeremiah lives in Somerset. So anytime there's something new in Somerset, for the first 2 weeks, you're going to be in line forever.
Yeah, there's not that many people that live here, but it's enough that when something new comes to town, everybody's got to try it.
Everybody's got to try it.
So I got in line and everything. I never been there before, and they just totally skipped me, dude. I looked at the menu, like I'm looking at it now, and they have this thing called a blondie. It's a caramel and vanilla bread, and like it's all super sugary drinks. So I said, I'm gonna get me a caramel mocha, an iced caramel mocha. It was hot. This is a summer day. I'm going backpacking, so I said I'm gonna start my day with an iced coffee. Well, they totally skipped me. It's all teenage girls working there. Every single one of them.
Wait, who's working there? Who's working there?
It's all like some of them were my former students. It's all teenage girls.
Oh, so what you're saying is that I was right. It's geared towards a certain clientele.
Well, I had no idea. I just know that Jason said, "Oh, this is way better than Starbucks. If we had went through there instead of the Starbucks, I wouldn't have to throw this coffee in the trash." He says, I know exactly what to get. Even after I explained to him, dude, they can make the exact same drink at this Starbucks that they would make you at 7 Brew. You just have to tell them what to put in there, and they'll make it for you. It'll be the same thing.
Yep.
And anyway, he don't know how to describe what he's wanting to drink. He's looking at the menu and getting the frou-frou stuff like you're saying. So they totally skipped me. I get up to the window, and they say, oh, did they skip you in line? And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. They're like, it's kind of like Chick-fil-A. We got an iPad and we get your order. And then whenever you get up, you just pay and we hand you the coffee, you're gone. It's all drive through. Well, I got up there and they hadn't taken my order, which meant that I don't know who's running this place. I'm not trying to be negative here, but dude, there were like 15 cars behind me, and all those cars
had to wait for you to do your order.
They waited for me, and then they were giving people their coffee behind me, like walking it back to their car. At Chick-fil-A, you can like drive around. They have like a separate line where you can get out of line.
Yeah.
But not at 7 Brew. You have 2 lanes coming in, and then you're stuck in there. Uh-huh. So they're giving people's coffee behind me, but nobody could leave because I'm sitting there in front, and they make my coffee. Now, if I was the manager, this is just me, I would have said, make this guy's coffee. I don't care whose coffee you're making right now. Stop. Make his coffee so we can get him out of here. But that's not what they did. Anyway, I digress. That's all about. It's all 7 Brew. They're not paying me. Their coffee.
Obviously, they're not paying you.
Their coffee was fine. I thought it was good. It was very, very sweet, which is exactly what I was wanting.
But did I not say who it's targeted towards?
It is.
It is targeted towards teenage girls. Like 100%. That's their target. Our senior minister at my church, his daughter, her name's Naya. She is 17 years old, and she loves her some 7 Brew.
Of course.
She loves her 7 Brew. So,
well,
I digress.
Good. Okay, I'll keep moving on. So I got my iced coffee. I eased on down. We were going to Big South Fork. Now, I'm very familiar with the area. It's my favorite part of the Chateau Trace. and it's kind of on the border of Kentucky and Tennessee. So I said, I'm going to have a few hours to kill before Jason gets here. Let me park, and then I think I'm going to go ahead and hike up to the Angel Falls overlook without him. It's about miles. I said that'll take me around an hour, maybe a little more, because the last 3/4 of a mile, unfortunately, is all uphill.
Yeah.
So I actually I don't think I've showed you this. I don't have it handy. Oh, it's up there. Dude, I made me the night before a little cooler out of the silver insulation you can put on the back of your garage door. You can get it
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
Lowe's.
It almost looks like the Reflectix
That's
type stuff, but it's like foam.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's almost like bubble wrap in the middle.
Yeah, yeah.
But I made me a little cooler out of that the night before. So I took me some watermelon. I had already pre-cut it. It had been icing in the cooler. I put that in my little cooler that I made out of duct tape and, basically insulation. It weighed 3 ounces. I weighed it. Maybe some watermelon. I had a bologna sandwich. Now, I never eat bologna. Dad likes it, and I'd taken him fishing a few days before, but unfortunately, he'd fell and broken his wrist during that trip, so we didn't get to enjoy our bologna sandwiches.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah, I didn't tell you that.
No.
Yeah, I won't get too deep into it, but basically, I took Dad kayak fishing at the lake, and he slipped and fell on the
Wow.
ramp. Yeah, and landed on his wrist, so we spent a few hours in the ER, and he had surgery and stuff. He just had the stitches out. But yeah, so I still had some leftover bologna, and I never get bologna, but I knew Dad liked it, and I knew we were going fishing, so I was like, I'll make us some bologna sandwiches. So I took that bologna up there with me, dude. I hiked that 3 miles up there. It took me about an hour and 15 minutes. Didn't see another soul the whole time. Didn't listen to any music. Just went completely unplugged. No stimulation. Just me and God and the woods. And I walked up there. I ate my bologna sandwich and had me a few chips and my watermelon. Just chilled out for a while, enjoyed the overlook, and then that's the only place I had service. And I got a message from Jason that said, "Can you meet any earlier?" And I was like, "It's too late now, man. I'm 3 miles away. There's no getting around this. I had to walk all the
Yeah.
way back, so I can hike into a different spot." So I did run into one guy that was on a bicycle as I was walking back, but other than that, I walked back down to the truck and ran into a guy. Dude, I was walking across the bridge. You walk down there at Leatherwood Ford.
Yeah.
So they have that big bridge, right? And then they have a small bridge that's all washed out. It used to be the original bridge where you ford that water. And every time it floods through there, it's an old metal bridge, but it's got these big wood ties on top. And most of them are washed out. Dude, I was I don't know if you would say embarrassed or what, but I said, I think I'm going to cross this little bridge as a shortcut. Because if you take the big bridge, you got to walk back up the hill, up a bunch of stairs, then walk across the bridge and then climb back over. This is a big car bridge. The other one's like an old bridge, a little one. And I said, I'm going to take this shortcut, dude. I didn't make it a quarter of the way. My knees started quivering. I said, I can't do it.
It's nerve-wracking, man. It is nerve-wracking.
Well, I had my backpack on, and it had some of the supplies I needed for that night. It was just a day pack I was wearing, the Fast Pack by Outdoor Vitals. And I said, if I get some of this stuff wet, I'm going to be hurting tonight. So I turned around and walked back across the bridge. And then I got up to the big bridge, and there's the Fast Pack. Dude, that thing was perfect for what I was using it for. And I actually took out the rubber water bottles or whatever those are made of and just put in just regular 16.9 ounce bottles. And dude, it's like wearing a little running vest basically.
Yeah.
But it's a backpack.
I love the straps on that thing.
Yes, dude. They're wide and support a bunch of weight if you put it in there. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It has 3 clips where you clip the vest together. I said,
really nice.
Man, this. But anyway, I walked up to the other bridge and got passed by a truck pulling a trailer. I was like, man, didn't think a whole lot of it. And then I got down to the parking lot, and that truck, it was going the opposite direction, and it had turned around and drove down to the parking lot. And I met up Jason was down there. I fist bumped him, gave him a hug, and then that truck pulled up, and he said, "Excuse me, you're not Jeremiah Stringer, are you?" And I said, "Yes, I am. What's up, man?" He said,
Woo, buddy.
he said, "I've been watching you for years." I said, "Oh man, that is so awesome. A throwback subscriber."
That's cool.
And yeah, his name was Tennessee Tyler. He's got a channel too, but you're not gonna believe this. Works at Cherry Creek Lodge. So
Really? Dude, I love
yes,
Cherry Creek Lodge. For people who don't
he
know,
actually.
Cherry Creek is this lodge that's along the Sheltoe Trace, and you can only
Mhm.
get there by horse or foot. You cannot drive there. There's a dirt road that gets up to a certain point, but then you have to hike the rest of the way in. And if it's wet,
Mhm.
there's this horrible bridge that you have to go across that is slimy and slick. And I'm telling you, when I hiked the Sheltoe, my feet went out from underneath me, and my backpack saved my back because I fell flat on my backpack. I went up in the air, I mean, full airborne, landed on my back. And if that backpack hadn't been there, I might have been damaged, man. I couldn't believe it. And so I got up and I just kind of slid my feet across because it had rained a lot at that point. So I just slid my feet across the bridge and went over to Cherry Creek. But they have really cool cabins. They do meals. They do everything. It's awesome.
Yeah, he told me about some of their services. He's like, "You got to come down here." I said, "I never stayed there before." I said, "I got a buddy, John Kelly. Him and another friend actually stayed there when they were through hiking the Sheltoe." And he said, "Dude, we got food, we got warm bathrooms, we got adult beverages, we have cabins, we got wood fires, we got cornhole down here." He's like, you got to come and stay." And
Yeah, it's nice.
he said, "We have Starlink, but it doesn't reach the cabins." And when I say, we're using this word cabins pretty loosely, this is, I mean, they are
No,
cabins,
they're cabins.
but
I mean, the one I was in, we went in and we had 2 or 3 bunk beds in there, a wood burning
mm,
stove. I mean, they're nice. Like they're kind of primitive, but I mean, you're out hiking anyways. But they're
right.
nice. They're real nice.
Yeah, that's what I mean by that is when we're saying cabins, there's a bunch of ways to interpret that. It is primitive. It's like there's not going to be electrical outlet in there for you to charge your phone. But anyway, I forgot to tell you about this dude, but I'll tell you right now since we're on the show. He said the Starlink doesn't reach the cabins. But he said it would be amazing if we come and done like a recorded episode like this one of the backpacking podcast down there. So
Yeah.
I said, "Yes, dude." So Jason and I were talking about maybe going down there in the wintertime and like staying for a night or two. And you got the wood stoves and the heated bathrooms. And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah." So if you're interested, dude, we could book a cabin down there sometime for us, and we could do an episode of the Backpack Podcast. It'd be live, but pre-recorded.
Yeah,
Pre-recorded
I
live.
think that would be awesome actually. I think I'd be all over that. And maybe we announce when we're doing it so other people can come down too if they want to check the place out, maybe get them some extra business in the process.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, dude. It could book. We could try to get it booked out if anybody's interested in coming and hanging out and seeing the
Yeah.
show. But
Yeah, and if you're
um,
interested in that, if that's something that sounds interesting to you, leave a comment, whether it's in
yeah,
YouTube or Spotify or wherever, and let us know if that sounds like something you'd be interested in doing. Maybe we can do that in like December, January, something like that.
yeah. Sometime it'd be amazing if there was snow on the ground when we went, but
Oh
you just
yeah,
never know here in Kentucky and Tennessee area. But anyway, yeah, Tennessee Tyler was his handle. He said he did have a mullet, but now he just cut his hair shorter and he does more of the TikToks, but he done YouTube for a while. You might recognize him if you pull him up. Tennessee Tyler. But anyway, him and his dog, I can't remember his dog's name, but they pulled up and talked to me and Jason for probably 30 minutes before we started hiking in. So I hung out with him, and that gave me time talking to him to kind of repack my stuff where I had done some day hiking. I needed to relocate that gear. And once he headed out of there, dude, do you recognize him?
yeah. Let me pull. I'll show you his channel here real quick if you want to see it.
Okay.
But
Yeah. If you gonna put it on the screen. So if you're on Spotify or YouTube, you can actually see right now the video version. Yeah, Tennessee Tyler. He said he hasn't done as much YouTube He's kind of put it on the back burner, but he's done a bunch of short form content as of late. He's like, well, he's telling me about all these trips. He's got, you know how it is. You got a bunch of footage, but it takes
Oh
a
yeah.
long time to edit. But yeah, after he rolled out, I started talking to Jason, and Jason's like, I got something to show you. Dude, he showed me a video from the parking lot of me trying to walk across that bridge. He showed he had zoomed in on me. He had already arrived, and he was
That's
waiting on me to
great.
get back to the truck, and he was videoing me trying to cross that bridge. And yeah, you could see the moment where I was like, I can't commit. I got to turn back. So me and him, we kind of repackaged everything. He already had his stuff good to go. I repacked my cooler with anything I needed to keep cold, and dude, it worked fantastically. Me and him backpacked in. Um, we were like 2 miles down the trail. We started hiking, and then we stopped for just a second. I don't remember if I was getting a drink or what. And there was like a dozen kids walked up behind us, and one lady. And I was like, gosh, I feel so bad for her. I mean, I have one child and I know how difficult that is. Now imagine you have like 12 kids running around that are from the age of, she was wearing one on her back that was a year and a half old. And then she had
Wow.
anywhere from like 4 or 5 years old to like 8 years old, like a dozen kids running around. And and they were having fun and stuff, but they were hiking to the exact same spot that we were. So like every time we stopped, we had 12 kids walking up behind us. I was like, do you want to let them go on? And he's like, no, let's keep marching on. Didn't want to get stuck behind them, but then they're kind of chasing you the whole time.
Yeah.
And we hiked down there. I felt so bad for her. We got down there a few minutes before she did with those kids. And she got down there and she was like, that felt a lot further than 2 miles. I was thinking it's actually 1.8. Bless your heart. I didn't say anything to her. Jason said, do you want us to take your picture? And she said, nah, that's okay. I think we're going to head back. I think she took a picture of the kids and headed back. And then Jason and we found a spot to set up, and it's so hot. We said, let's go swimming in the Big South Fork. And you gotta be careful because we were right there at Angel Falls. Dude, he started wading out in the water. We found a good spot. And I said, look over there. And there was like a dead fish just floating there exactly where he was getting in.
Oh,
He's
that's
like,
gross.
so would you keep swimming there, or would you go find a different spot? Would you move the fish? What would you do?
Here's the thing. If it's really hot and I have to go
Mhm.
further to get to the water, I would just stay there and I'd get all my clothes soaking wet and just chill
Mhm.
out and use my clothes as my cooling mechanism.
Uh,
And honestly, I
uh,
mean, there's probably more than that dead fish in there anyways.
bro, that water is so dirty. Do you know? I
The
mean,
Big South Fork as a whole, man.
it was the visibility. I mean, inches.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
it was bad. But we eased on down about 50 yards or so probably. Found a different spot to swim. Had a good time. Stayed up way too late.
Wait, you did?
I, I know, who would have ever
You,
guessed?
you have to, because you have to make up for the fact that you go to bed like a grandpa during the week.
Well, I tried. Yeah, that's true. Baby goes to sleep at 8. I'm right behind him at
Yeah,
8:30.
let's say, yeah.
So we found another spot to go swim. We stayed up too late. And I remember Jason was like, I had to go tomorrow and work. He owns his own business, but he's got duties that he's got to take care of. And I was like, what time are you headed out of here? He was like, well, I'm going to head out fairly early. You can stay and sleep in if you want, and I'll just hike out without you. And I was like, okay. What time are you heading out? He's like, I want to be on the trail about 7 or 8 probably. And dude, whenever we was going to bed, I was looking at my watch and I was like, I don't remember what time it was, like 1:23 or something. It was late. I was like, there's no way.
123?
It was late, bro.
Oh my
I don't know what
gosh.
it was late. I don't stay up that late. But anyway, yeah, the next morning I woke up, I got up and peed, and it was really early, 4 or 5 a.m. I said, I'm going back to sleep. I took my shirt and I put it over my eyes. And then I woke up again, and I heard Jason like talk. I wasn't recording the trip, but he was like doing a selfie thing and recording the trip. He's making a little video, and I was like, well, he's still here. It must be pretty early. I looked at my watch, and it was like 9:06. And I was like,
You're like, I just got like 7 or 8 hours of sleep.
yeah. I was feeling pretty good. And I started, I sprung up because I figured he was about ready to roll out, and he was still packing up. But we rolled out together, and I just remember I was like, yeah, he's definitely going to be working late today. But we made it back, and I had a great day. I had a great day that day and a great day whenever we headed out. But he had to drive a couple more hours
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
and
But
go to
that's
work.
fun,
So
man. That's just fun.
RIP to his free time.
Oh, who cares? That's good stuff. That's all I'm saying. You know what I
Yeah.
got to say to that?
Got one life, live it.
That's all I got to say.
I love it.
You got one
Yes.
life, live it. And
Now,
if I'm
you
not
got
going to
some
say
stuff-
that, I'm going to say this.
What's going on, Hawkers? Hey, you got some stuff you're wanting to talk about today as well.
Yeah,
What
you
do you
know,
got?
we're going to talk for a couple minutes. We're not going to do a lot of it, but I found some articles, just things that backpackers do that they don't normally talk about. It's stuff that is pretty well known, but nobody really verbalizes it, if that makes sense. So I thought we'd read a couple of these and I'd get your reaction to these things and see what you think. So are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay. The very first one, you get used to being dirty. In the article, it says, I'm not advocating that being clean isn't awesome, but at some point of your trips, the option of being perfectly clean won't always be available to you, and you'll stop being worried about it. You'll sometimes have less access to showers, or your hygiene bag won't be available to you. You have to start recycling your worn clothes so long as it's clean, quote unquote, clean enough, since you won't be able to do your laundry all the time. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think I've went through phases. The longest I've been on trail without showering is 10 days.
Wow.
Now, I did do laundry during that time, but didn't find a shower. You're through hiking, and sometimes there's just no place to shower there. You look for a gym to go to or a hostel that you're staying at or something. But sometimes you're just popping into town and you're like, let me do this laundry. This is a Nero, and I'm hopping right back on trail. Well, the biggest problem with being dirty is chafing, in my opinion.
I was just getting ready to ask you. I was like, did you chafe because of that? Were you able to at least like do the whole like dude wipes cleanup or anything like that?
Yeah, during that time, I try to make it my policy that you have to at least do a baby wipe bath strategically, by the way. It matters where you start if you're limited on baby wipes.
Yeah.
So if you're only using one or two, I'll start with my face. That's the first thing. And then, you can kind of work yourself wherever you need to.
Do you know where I start when I'm like nasty? Like I'm talking like 4 days in, 3 or 4 days in, and you're not going anywhere soon. I get rid of swamp crotch as quick as I can. Like I am getting that area clean as a whistle. I want that spotless because like you said, chafing the bat wings is what we call it. But I don't want bat wings. So I'm going to get that as cleaned up as I possibly can, man, because there is nothing more painful than chafing in that area. And so for me, that's the first place I'm cleaning up. I'm getting those wipes out, and we're going to clean that area. And if I don't have enough to do other stuff, I don't care, but I'm getting that done.
I'm kind of ashamed to say this, dude, but I have started going to Walmart to the travel section and getting those like the little bitty deodorant. And I use that, and I use it every morning whenever I'm on trail. I used to I didn't even worry about it, but now I try to. If there is a place that's good enough that I can collect some water, you don't have to filter it or anything. You're going to bathe in it, but collect some water, and then you can take a little actual bath. You can even heat up the water, if you're okay with using your cook pot. And I take a little watered soap with me, but I'm trying to stay cleaner because I'm not afraid of the chafing. I've lived through it, but it just sucks every time. It never gets easier.
And especially when it's hot, because you could chafe in places you wouldn't even think about, like where your straps are on your backpack, your underarms from your arms moving back and forth, anything where there's any kind of rubbing. You can chafe, and it's miserable, man. It's absolutely miserable.
Yeah. All right. What else?
Here's another one. It's that everybody steals toilet paper. Basically, it says carrying toilet paper everywhere you go is a must, but who actually buys packets of tissues or rolls of toilet paper when restaurants, bars, and museums all have unlimited supplies?
Is this ethically even okay?
It's not an ethical list. It's things they don't talk about. It's things that people don't admit to or talk about. And I have talked to several long trail hikers who have said they might have walked off with some rolls of toilet paper when they've gone places before.
Well, in my experience, and I might be spoiled, but that publicly available toilet paper is always terrible. You know,
Yeah.
I've said it on here before. You call it the John Wayne toilet paper. It's rough, tough, and don't take crap off
from
anybody.
nobody. Yep.
Yeah. So personally, here's what you could do if you're not like rocking on a super tight budget. Get the smallest pack of like the Comfort Soft or whatever your preferred brand is, and then leave the rest in a hiker box if you're doing like a through hike.
Yeah.
And dude, you won't be able to imagine how thankful the next hiker is going to be to come through there and be like, oh my gosh, this is Cottonelle quilted ultra soft
Double ply.
Yes.
Because let's just shoot straight. The reason why most of your like public restroom toilet paper is awful is because it's single ply.
Yeah, and it feel like it's made of cardboard or something. It's just
It's like
terrible.
it feels like it's made of recycled water bottles. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible.
I'm not saying, let me say my final piece on this one. I'm not saying that I wouldn't take like in one of those public bathrooms, you can take the toilet paper and just like spin it around your hand a bunch of times. And if that's what you need to get you through for 2 or 3 days, that's what you need. I'm not saying I wouldn't do that or haven't done it. Nothing comes to mind, but I mean, if I have my preference, I would rather carry, an actual roll, but I get it.
Yep. All right. So you ready for the next one?
Yeah. What you?
Because I've done this. I'll admit it. Rewear underwear. What backpacker has time to do a clothes wash every time they run out of pants?
Yeah. Do you do the flip it inside and outside, or you just rewear them?
I've done that. Yes, I have done that. It was, we were hiking and it was probably 80, 85 degrees every single day. And so the next morning when I'd get up, I would grab the clean pair and wear it. I would hang up the other one at night and let it air out. And the next day after that, I'd get up and put that one inside out and wear it instead. And then do the same thing with the other pair. And then would maybe, if there was a creek or something, might put it in the creek and kind of rinse it out a little bit and all that kind of stuff. So,
yeah, I've been there. I've done the flip it inside, flip it outside. I've done they're so dirty, you just keep wearing them. I've definitely done the commando as well, but you got to be strategic. If you're going to rock the commando and you wear the wrong pants or the wrong shorts, sometimes you're going to get chafed even worse than what you would have if you had to rock the underwear.
And honestly, for a long time, I wore running shorts that had a liner, so I didn't even bring underwear.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I did a lot of times, and it breathes better usually because it's more of a mesh than your normal underwear. So I've done that before too. So
yeah, if I had to go, if it's summertime, then that right there is one of my go-tos, is like the running shorts. It's like almost perfect.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, you ready for another one?
Yeah.
We all get lost. We all like to think we can boss a city first name. But if you've ever got on the wrong train and only realized half an hour later, are you even a backpacker? So I would even say you're looking at your map and you're walking down a trail and you look around and you realize, I don't know where I am right now. I can honestly say I've gotten lost so many times backpacking. It's ridiculous.
I'm a little bit confused here. What is this point trying to claim?
I think it's when you're hiking, like when you're on a trail and you hit a city.
Mm-hmm.
And you're trying to find like a place to stay the night, a hostel or something, and you get on the wrong like train or you get on the wrong subway or whatever, and you find out you're not even like anywhere close to where you were supposed to be.
Well, that hasn't happened to me with the. Oh,
I've done
you
it
know
on
what?
trail.
I take it back, man. One time I was in Vermont, and bro, the bus. So I don't remember if we got on the wrong bus or what, but the place where we were getting picked up, like, let's see, how did this go? We ended up at a bus station. This was a complicated day. I can't remember exactly what happened, but I do remember that I had to wait through like 3 buses. I was like, this is wasting my whole day. I could be on trail right now, but instead a bus only runs like every 40 minutes and I'm having to wait through 3 of them so I can get back to this location unless I want to pay, $50 for a private taxi to take me. So I remember that. I don't even remember what city I was in, but you know what? I guess accidentally I fall into this category.
Yeah, it happens, man. It happens. And we never talk about it because who wants to brag about doing something dumb? You know what I mean? Like nobody's gonna sit there and go, hey, remember the time I was an idiot and did this? Like you don't do that, but it happens. I mean, you gotta admit it happens. I think that's hilarious. Okay, here's a great one. It's not that we don't want to talk about it. I just don't know if it gets talked about enough, but that's the kindness of strangers. Every once in a while, your phone or wallet might get stolen. It happens, and there's nothing you can do about it. You might lose some valuable items, but most of the time, someone will help you out. Backpackers who know you will spend their time and money to help you out. Sometimes backpackers will spend money on someone you met that day so they have a room to stay in or have food to eat when you don't have any other source of money. I've seen kindness of people. I actually have a couple stories of this. One was for myself. I had just gotten a new pair of trekking poles, and I was hiking, and I had left them sitting against a tree at the trailhead, got in my truck and left and went to lunch. And while I was at lunch, I remembered I never grabbed my trekking poles. And so I drove back expecting for them to be gone, and this guy looks at me and goes, hey, did you leave a pair of trekking poles here? I went, yeah. He goes, okay, I put them over there so no one would take them. I'm like, I didn't know who this guy was. He didn't know who I was. But I thought that was one of the nicest things in the world. And my trekking poles were there, and they were fine. And I thought that was just really cool of that guy to do that. Then another great story. I was hiking with my buddy Josh. And we're out hiking, I think, a place called Copper's Falls. I think you've been there before. So we're hiking that trail. We come back, and when we get ready to go eat, he can't find his wallet. And we're like, oh, this isn't good. And so we camped out that night, and then we came back the next morning and re-hiked the trail. Never found his wallet. Well, the next day after we got back, he gets a message on Facebook Messenger. Somebody had found his wallet and looked him up on Facebook and sent him a message and said, hey, man, I think I found your wallet on Copper's Falls. I've got it with me. If you'll shoot me some proof of who you are, I'll just mail it to you. And he goes, okay. Wow. And sure enough, the dude mailed him his wallet back.
Yeah, negativity's popular, but there's a lot of great people out there.
Yeah.
Like one time Jonathan and I were on a trip, and he forgot his cell phone on the trunk of the car, and there was like a semi flashing their lights trying to get our attention, and we pulled off, and sure enough, that guy in the semi, we were driving down the interstate, and he was telling us, hey, there's a phone on your trunk. You're driving 70 miles an hour. And it's just did you see that story of the guy's wallet? It was all over my Facebook of the Ford guy, and then like he retired, and he was working at a Ford manufacturing plant, I guess, and he lost his wallet under the hood of one of these new vehicles, and then somebody found it like 150,000 miles after. They like 150,000 miles on the truck, found his wallet under there after that mileage, and then contacted him, and he had already retired. You didn't see this?
I didn't see this.
Yeah, he retired from the plant, and then they got in contact with him because I guess that he had his Ford ID in there as well. Yeah, so they were like, how'd this get under there? And apparently it'd been in there since it was made. I was also going to ask you, have you heard of this Discover Connection YouTube channel? It's got like 1.4 million subscribers. It's a couple Canadian guys, and sometimes I watch their videos. I watched one, they call it a documentary, but it's like a 40-minute video or an hour-long video,
Oh
and
yeah,
they
yeah, yeah.
travel.
I've seen these guys. Yeah, I've seen these guys.
I figured you'd seen their videos, you just didn't recognize the name, but you probably seen their faces. They went across the US and hitchhiked across America. And depending on the video's 2.5 hours, 2 hours 47 minutes. I didn't realize it was that long. But anyway, they hitchhiked across the U.S. and they depended on somebody for every single leg of the journey. They hitchhiked. They didn't bring any money. Somebody had to feed them. So every night they had to ask if they could stay in someone's home. So they ended up in all kinds of different places, like down in New Orleans, in New York, and Boston. Just a bunch of random people. Some college kids, some retired couples, some single people, some bachelors. Just like to go back to the point that you were just on the the kindness of strangers. These guys relied on the kindness of strangers for weeks. And
Survival.
somebody actually,
Yeah.
yeah, even to eat, somebody ended up giving them a truck. Somebody that met them that day gave them a truck so they could keep driving across the country to make it. I think they're going to the West Coast, maybe Los Angeles.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
insane,
really cool.
man.
People are good. I mean, there's a lot of good people out there. There's a lot of good people out there. Okay, last one. We're gonna do this. This will be the last one we talk about, and it's fitting for this podcast. Number 5 is the sickness, food poisoning, and diarrhea. At some point in your travels, it will hit you, and you'll never know when. Your body just won't acclimate to some foreign food or bacteria, or you'll be pooping for days, literally days. And when this happens, make sure you make a mental note of the closest restrooms, have a fully charged phone or reading material, and access to a well-stocked cache of toilet paper rolls. I can honestly tell you, yes, if you do a lot of backpacking at some point, it's going to hit you. And you never know when, you never know how it's going to hit, and you better have your stuff together, because when it does, you got to take care of business, and it is not fun. Not fun.
Yeah, dude. I remember one time we was traveling, and I got traveler's diarrhea, and I may have said this on the podcast before. If I did, I apologize. But we had like an 8-hour layover in Dallas, flying back from our trip, and they wanted to go to the mall, and I took a Finnegan and passed out on a bench in the giant mall there for 3 or 4 hours. Bro, worst diarrhea of my life. I mean, I was the one place you don't want diarrhea is on a plane, bro. Everybody knows if you're going to the bathroom every 20 minutes on a plane, they're like, either this guy is trying to get away with vaping on here, or this guy has really bad diarrhea.
And then nobody wants to go to that bathroom because they know what it's going to smell like when they walk in there.
They just keep seeing you walk down the aisle of the plane over and over and over to the bathroom. Yeah, it's embarrassing. And anyway, that's probably the worst traveling diarrhea. I literally was diagnosed with traveler's diarrhea that trip.
That's crazy. The worst that I can remember, I've talked about multiple times on here with the Sheltoe Trace, but when I got what was it, Giardia, and it was bad. But there was another time last year when I was with the Backpacking and Blisters podcast on their backpacking trip to the Red River Gorge. And the last day I woke up, and I may have talked about it on here, but I was talking to one of the guys who wanted to see my hammock set up. So we were over talking about our hammock, and I looked at him. I said, "Can you give me about 10 minutes?" He goes, "Yeah." I grabbed my toilet kit and just took off. And I dug a cat hole, and I overshot it by 3 feet. And yeah, that was fun. And so then I get done, I come back, we start talking, and we get about 15 minutes in, and I look at him and go, "Can you give me another 10 minutes?" He goes, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "I'll be back." Did it again. Dug a cat hole, overshot it by 3 feet. I mean, this happened 4 times in one day. And 3 of those were within the first hour of getting up. So it was a miserable morning.
This is when I advocate for the pocket bidet. Man, you will get chafe just from so much wiping if you're having to do that over.
Well, and I use the capsules that are the packed capsules that you just make them wet. So it's like
Oh.
wet wipes for your butt, and that's why I take them, because you're right. Dry toilet paper you can chafe really easy, but those wet wipes are nice. It's almost like a little bath for your booty. It's kind of nice.
Now, one thing I feel like the jury is kind of out on is if you do get diarrhea like that, are you supposed to take something to stop it? Or are you supposed to like you're playing a balancing act, right? Especially if you're on trail, you don't want to get too dehydrated, but you don't want to have to keep stopping to go
Right,
to the
right.
bathroom. Are you supposed to take something,
I took
or are you
Imodium
supposed
that
to let
day.
your body?
I
Okay.
took Imodium because we were getting ready to hike. We were up on Indian Staircase in the Red River Gorge, and you know there's that scenic hike down the backside of the Indian Staircase. We took that back way, and there's no place to go to the bathroom down that way
True.
because you're just basically climbing down a cliffside the whole time. And
All
so
rock.
I knew if I was going to go down that, there was no way I was going to have a place to go to the bathroom. So I took Imodium, and I was like, I've got to. I got no choice. And so I definitely took it. And like I said, I went 3 times before we left, and as soon as we got down to the parking lot, I took my last one of the day. I'm gonna guess I lost 5 pounds that day. It was a pretty rough morning. So, but yeah, it happens to everybody, man. I have not talked to anybody who's done a lot. And if you're somebody who goes maybe once a year, there's a good chance you won't have this happen to you, but it could. But if you're someone's backpacking a lot, like once a month, a couple times a month, you're doing some longer trips, it's going to hit you at some point. Just be prepared for it, because it's going to happen. It doesn't matter who you are. It happens to everybody. Everybody.
Fitting into the show, my friend.
Yes, fitting into the show. How do we like to end our shows? Poop talk. So you're welcome, everybody. You are welcome. For those who didn't get to listen to last week's episode, we got the opportunity to talk to Metro on the Move and Chris Oconee about their finally finishing up the Appalachian Trail, and they are now through hikers of the AT. And if you haven't had a chance to listen to that episode, go back and listen to it. Awesome episode. The episode before that, we were with Moose Mutlow, who, if you want to hear one of the most fascinating stories in the world, go back and listen to the episode. We talk about everything from being a trail guide to traveling through Australia and hiking through Australia and dealing with crocodiles, to dealing with the fact that when you are a rescue, when you're doing search and rescue, people die. And so it's just a wild and very interesting podcast. The last 2 episodes have been fantastic. So make sure you guys go check those out. And for myself and the king of Kentucky backpacking, Mr. Jeremiah Stringer, we will catch you guys on the next one. Take it easy.